Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper, and there's another video on Watcher of Realms. Sorry I have been absent for a couple of days. Hey, sometimes real life work takes precedence, so I have the money to pay the bills. But today we have the special opportunity this morning to film a video, and I thought what better video than my 90 days in this game. 90 days later, what do I think about Watcher of Realms? Where am I at with this game? Where's my progress? Where next? Where do we go from here? All those sort of things. So let's take our two. Ooh, love those. We'll be opening those this weekend. All right, so what does a 90-day account look like when you spend on the game? Here we are. I am level 82. Honestly, is higher than I thought I would be. We have tailed off on our spending of late, which is good. We did do a ton of energy on a ton of gear. We'll go over the heroes in a bit, but we'll just kind of go over where we are in each of the areas. I can't see it from here. Okay, so let's go into raids, and I'll show you each of the promotion raids. Obviously, we're maxed out on promotion and resource raid, 100%, no issues there. Guild boss, we just ran our guild keys, but let me show you the team. What I'm currently doing is 2 keying Nightmare 4 and 1 keying, and I do actually buy it with 200 diamonds. Let me know in the comments down below. Should I run 1 Nightmare 3, 1 Nightmare 4 and get the second best chest, or should I be buying that extra key to get top chests on both? Is it worth the 200 diamonds? I don't know. I women, I go, yeah, it's always worth it. The resources are there. Some of them can be really good, but some days the resources are clearly not worth 10 diamonds. So sometimes you can get 200 diamonds, in which case it's a push plus whatever resources you get. So as for now, at least I'll probably keep doing that. I think if I wasn't getting diamonds as part of the content creator program, maybe I wouldn't do that. But because I am, I think I'm fairly confident, feeling fairly good about doing that. As you can see here, I keep forgetting to change it. I was testing different fighters for the last position on this team. I actually can put anyone. I was just looking for who does the most damage among all the different teams, and then for some reason I kept Valkyria in there, and she's not even got the gear she used originally, but I never changed it because honestly I overkill this. We only need 18k. But it's the same team. The only difference is Falcia's in that one spot where Valkyria is on Nightmare 4, and we do about 28k on that one. We would do 28k on this one if Valkyria is a little better. I thought Valkyria might be a neat idea just because she's got that kind of auto save, which might be useful. But she just doesn't do enough damage. I'll show you the damages here. The damages are going to be they're going to be pretty much the same. The only difference, of course, being that my Falcea does about 18 million damage. So you see Salazar 74, 57 for Hex, 44 for Ardea, 43 for that's a lot for him actually. He normally doesn't hit that nearly that hard. 26 for Valeria. Her gear needs some help. And then 8 million. So we lose about 10 million, but we don't need it, so I've never bothered to change it. That's the team we use. We use a Chaos team, as you can see. I use the 2 Chaos leads, and then you saw the team that we put down. So the Chaos just helps those front 3, or those the front 2 do better damage, and of course Piercer just helps Hex and Silas do better. I do plan on changing over to a Nightmare team if and when I get Lust on the team. We are saving up for Lust, so hopefully that'll happen. So that is our guild boss. As far as gear raids, we're gear raid 21 for all 3. I'll show you the teams real quick, but we obviously won't run everything or else this will be a 3-hour video. There you go. We're just using Cyrus for the boost. We're using Autumn and Dolores to boost Boreas's damage. And then I actually switched in and I bring Silas in at the very end just to burst the boss a little quicker. And we're using Ardea in the backfield. We're making sure we point both healers up and we put her in the middle so she doesn't get healed. That means she's always at 1 HP, which means she's doing her maximum allowable damage all the time, and she survives 100%. So she can't be hit, but she can do ridiculous amounts of damage against the boss, which is nice. So that's the team we have for that. Gear Raid 2. The team I used to beat it is Fastidious's team that he showed where you lift. It's the I guess we call it the Volca strat. So I can link that. If I remember, I'll link that up there. Hopefully I do. But if not, just check out Fastidious. He's got a great guide on that. And it was a little, getting the timings right took a few runs, but once you get it, you get it. But what I actually use now, because I have the Power Dominance, is I use the Sadie team. Sadie wasn't quite surviving in this team if I tried it under normal circumstances. So I used Decimus for at the very beginning. And I use Silas at the very beginning. Or sorry, the very beginning I use one of my tanks. I use my second tank, Regulus and Silas. Once we get to the first earthquake, then we use Decimus timing on that after the first earthquake, which is common for the Volca strat. But after that, we put everyone down and we swap over to a Sadie strat. It works fine. I'm perfectly fine with this. This was easier to set up, which is why I did it, because I had to redo the team once I got Power Dominance because the timings had been broken. So rather than doing that and having to redo getting all the timings right, which I'm an idiot, so I just thought this was easier, frankly. And I have Sadie. I want to use her for something. She's an A2 or A3 now. So that's the team I use. Isolde is really amazing in this comp as well. She's not just there for this. She does actually do some work for me as a backup. And I would like to try to beat 21 with this team without Power Dominance. The reality is right now they don't. So I got to figure that out. But until then, this is the team I use with Power Dominance to farm Gear Raid 2. Gear Raid 3, this was on the channel, maybe you saw it, but this was my takeover from Fastidious, where he blew through 2021. And it's the Piercer team. We're using Nyx on the left side, Allura on the right side, Silas and Idril up the middle. We are boosting their damage with Autumn and Dolores. We're pulling Silas after the boss fight, and we're using him at the end to clean up instead of Allura, just because it's quicker. Dallin for some initial boosts, and of course Volca, so those lift ups for Laurel, primary just for Laurel, is quicker. And of course Laurel is there just to boost Idril's rage regen. She is an absolute boss on this. It's so broken, it's amazing. So that's the team for Gear Raid 3. I'll show gear on my top heroes after this, so don't worry about it if you're wondering, well, what are the heroes? Faction trial, obviously basic trial, we're complete. We've completed the Esoterrus, but we don't have the 35th crystal, and the reason is I can't complete stage 10 without 2 healers. Legendary, and they're all legendaries. I don't have Elowen. I don't have the other one. I don't remember what the other one is. There's 3 of them. I only have 1. So I just can't get it. So we'll wait until we get another healer. We'll wait until we pull our Elowen, our most wanted champion on this account. Trial, so Watchers is kind of our lowest, 26. A lot of them are at that 27. I could probably push some of these. I just have not. I did. I don't. There's no after that. I just haven't. Piercers we've pushed. We're at 33. We cannot complete the final stage. We're close, so I might rip around some gear and see if we can't beat this. I wish I could show you it, but we can't, so is what it is. And then the cultists again, same thing. We're not really. Some of them I just don't have fully developed champions to do, so it is what it is. When we look at Tide, I got some Tide talents. Better use them. I don't even know what the right answer is for these Tide talents, but we're just kind of blanketed them across all of them. We're pretty far away from wave 140. I might push it on the weekend, see if I can't move some gear around, move some artifacts around. But we're just collecting right now. We did push wave 139 with a red BP, so maybe we can do it for wave 140. But it'd be nice to get that Volca, the next Volca essence or soul, I guess it is. So that is all those. Artifact material raid, we have a pretty good sub 1 minute. It's pretty easy. We put Silas down on the pedestal. He shoots the boss. We put Brokir down to protect. We don't even need a healer because the boss doesn't last that long. And then I do drop Falcia and Ardea on either side just to speed it up. As soon as Silas has his ult, we pop the ult, and and it's game over. Very fast runs. We have run a lot. I feel like more than I've been given need for. Arena, our teams are as such. You see the anti-air, which is a Boreas, the AoE with oh man, our Cerberus is pretty fun, and Boreas just cleans up, and the Valeria just keeps everything in check. Maybe should we run one? Yeah, I think we can run one. We're at 100% defense. That's pretty impressive. All right, so we'll just auto fight it. This team is I love this team. I do love this team. This is my favorite team. Cerberus is so cracked. So we're gonna put Cerberus down. Now he can block 3 because of his artifact. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, burn your ult. So, but we do have to put Valeria down here to make sure that fourth one doesn't escape. Now we've got his ult up, so we're gonna pop his ult, and these suckers are just gonna go away. Easily. Hatsut. I wish I had a Hatsut. And then now we're going to use the I can't believe he's not nerfed Boreas strat. Boom. We didn't even have to use his ult, as you can see. Oh, we used to see his timings. See, that's dangerous, right? You get those crazy timing ults. Well, you lost because you couldn't stop them. This team it just wins. I'm sure I'm gonna have a problem. I can tell. I've changed Boreas' gear since I originally dropped this team, so you can see his ult timings are a bit off because he's faster now. So he's getting it sooner, that sort of thing. But yeah, pretty good team. I'm pretty happy with that. What else do we have? We showed Tide, Faction Trials, Guild Boss, Promote. So those are all the raids. We've got for this weekend, by the way. On Saturday, I will be pulling Ancients and Legendaries. So we're going to give a chance. There is an event. The 2-time Divine. So we'll pull our Legendary. We've got 11 of them. And then we're going to do them both on Saturday. Because on Saturday, we'll do the Special Ancient. See if we can get this. I'd really like her. But if we don't get her, we don't get her. I'm not going to buy anything for it. We got 11. We'll pull them. We'll do a little video, and that'll be it. So, I think... God, I feel like there's stuff I haven't shown you yet. Besides gear. But I guess I'll show Void Rift. We're halfway through Nightmare. I'm stuck on a stage. I'm going to play around with it this weekend before tapping out. But this is our first pass through Nightmare, and we're halfway through. So, and I felt like we were doing pretty good on the other stages. So this stage might just be... swapping around some gear just to get Boreas hitting a little harder, or maybe I don't know if I can get Broke here to live any longer. He's dying. The problem comes down to he's dying, because everything else is working just fine. So we'll see if we can get that sorted out for the weekend. So heroes, we'll show you the main heroes that I use. And their builds, but I don't want to go too far into this. We're already 12 minutes in, and it's a lot of talking, so this is just a showcase of the account 90 days in. My top one is Sylas. We use Sylas as a burst damage champion, so he's got lower attack than I could get him. We've got pretty decent attack speed, but we're hitting that 373 crit damage. And the reason is when you hit his ult, he's ignoring 50% defense, which makes it easier to hit the threshold of attack, and he murders things, and it's amazing. And the bond skill helps, and everything about it. And he's an A1, so that helps too. He is a murderer. He's a straight up thug. Artifact, we have a 22 Spirit Siphon. I don't think I got it. No, I didn't get a new one yet. I do have 2 Spirit Siphons, so we'd like to get this one to... I might actually hold... I don't know. Should I get this to 25? I think we're going to hold here. No, you know what? I'll probably lift this one because I do use 2 Spirit Siphons. I haven't got any of the exclusives yet, so maybe we'll see. My next one, Ardea, she does have a bleed, and I do have this 25 out of 25. I used to use Vladoff in comps with her so that bleed would almost have an 100% uptime. I still think this is the best one for her because she does place bleed. I would, if I got a Salazar or another bleed champion, maybe I would look at something else for her. But at the end of the day, maybe the one where as you lose health, you do more damage, which currently is on my Valeria. But actually, we'll just go through artifacts real quickly, and then I'll circle back. A little bit easier. This one makes sense. We've got a fully ascended or leveled Lunacy Visor, and that gives us that increased block by 1. Also restores HP, which is the important thing, right? So each time they deal damage to one target, stacking up to 3 targets. So that's why he does so good in Arena. He can heal himself, which lets him last longer, which means I can kill more of those waves as they come in. Our second Spirit Siphon, this is the big difference between my Silas and my Hex for damage, is that this Spirit Siphon, of course, is not level 22. So, he's got less crit damage, less stats, you know the drill. We just got one yesterday in some farming, a Tear of Twilight or some forging. So we do have a Tear of Twilight at 19. Very happy with that. And this just makes him even more bonkers. Exclusive artifact on the pendant. I don't know what to put her in. So we have this, increases damage by 12%, has a 35% chance of slowing. She's already got that bone armor thing. So I thought overall this would be a good one to put her in. Obviously, if I had a second Tear of Twilight, I'd probably use Tear of Twilight on all my champions. But maybe with exclusive artifacts, we'll be able to make some different choices. I'm not too sure. Nyx is my AoE sharpshooter. So she's using the sharpshooter crest, which is pretty well built up. When there are no enemies within one tile, AoE damage increased by 28%. Very helpful. Very helpful in Nightmare Void Rift, where I have to use her in the one stage. And very helpful, of course, in Gear Raid 3. Comet, Heaven's Rage. After that, I don't think there's anything crazy here. We have a Bloodbond Signet because she's never getting hit, so who cares about her max HP? The other big one, probably the Flux Pendant here. So when her health drops below 50%, the increase is doubled, which she does all the time during her ultimate. And then we have the Wailing Skull, which is the Shadow Guard. Brokir, this is where we're probably hurting. We probably want this leveled up. That's what we're working on now. That's just my Nightmare Void Rift. He's not living long enough, so that's the help there. I don't think, other than I guess I have Idril's Gaze. I have a fully maxed one. On Hollow, I am using the Golden Scarab, and we're using the Keen Wisdom on Dolores. And I think the only other one that maybe, if we go to rares, I think Autumn's got our apple. No, she's got the Tumultuous Horn. Someone's got an apple. Currently he has no health. Why do we have dupes? I guess I didn't clean those up. Yeah. I don't even know who has the apple. I don't know. Feels like something someone should have, hey? Yeah. We were pushing the piercers. So this is our healer for piercers. She's actually kind of neat. I think Nasande, this is Nasande, right? Yeah. I think Nasande doesn't get enough talk. She's kind of a good healer. I like her abilities. We put some books into her. Her ultimate, all allies in range one time, and then each basic attack turns into a bouncing heal. I feel like I should be using her in Immortal Codex. So next time that opens, maybe we'll take a look. So let's take a look at the rest of the gear builds. Our Ardea sitting at a pretty 26,000, 1.3 second, and 288. After this, it gets a little bit shaky. I've done a lot of different swaps. I've made sure that all my main champions have sets, if possible, and my crit rate sometimes suffers. You see here, there's a suffering. He is hitting AoE, so I'm not too worried about it. It hasn't really affected me. But you can see here, 22k attack, 274 crit damage. Ardea, by the way, I would like to swap one of these out with a crit damage, but it needs to be able to have the crit rate. And, I mean, these are all ancient mythic. So, yeah, I have to get another ancient mythic Soulbound Arcana in crit damage with high crit rate so that I can replace one of these two attacks. So, obviously, it's going to be a while, but when we get it, we get it. This is one that this is a build in progress. We did swap him out to Ageless Wrath. I felt overall, especially in Guild Boss, it was more damage than what I previously had him in, even though the crit rate's a little low. This does come to haunt me in Nightmare Void Rift, so maybe we have to look at that again, but I'm going to have to do some more farming before that happens. Boreas, 85%. Also, same thing. Overall, I don't notice the 15% in the content that I do every day with him. Void Rift is a different story, so I might have to rework his gear for Nightmare Void Rift, especially where I'm stuck, because he you know, one non-crit might be the difference between winning and losing. So I know. Setram, set it and forget it. I've had him in this forever. He's just there to break the. I'm not going to go out to all the exclamations. You can see the stats here. We do have him in the basic attack damage by 40. Infernal Roar seems to be the best for him, in my opinion, because he does have slow attacks. He does have slow ultimates. So any of those sort of things probably wouldn't do anything for me. Nyx, I think, is an important one for me. She's not in a terribly crazy build, but we do have her in sets. So. We do have her speed. 468 attack speed, so that does help quite a bit. Comet, see, he's in the Infernal Roar. Now we're starting to get to kind of our secondary gear here. Alora, we do have her cracked out extra crit rate because she's A1 and she can convert that crit rate into crit damage. So that makes a useful use case for a very good ring. It's the crit rate ring that has attack, crit speed, crit damage, and basic attack. So, I mean, pretty much that piece was made for her, and bless her soul, she's able to use it. Now, you are thinking, I know what you're thinking, Fracture? But it's brilliant because she never gets hit unless we want her to get hit, right? Like, she's always invisible. So Fracture is actually amazing for her, and we've got 2 ancient pieces in it. So it kind of worked out very well for her. But I'd love to even push her even higher, especially in her attack, but for now, this is working quite all right. What else do we have? Who else do you need to see? If I'll say after this, it's just kind of putting gear to try to get the stats where we want them. See, her attack is way too low, but it works for the guild boss, so I'm not too worried about it. We could push her damage considerably higher. I guess the next one you'd want to see is Idril. Idril is cracked out with 351.5 crit damage. She also gets a crit damage boost from Autumn, because everywhere I'm using Autumn as well, it seems, for gear raids and stuff. So thank you to Fastidious for this build. It's pretty darn good. I might show you because I do want to make a video on her. This is her speed build. There's 2 ways to build her. I'm building her for control, so it's a full speed build. The other way to use her is a damage build, which of course you'd sacrifice a ton of that speed for full crit rate, crit damage, all the rest. But you still want her to have good speed, good rage regen if you can, because she can do ridiculous amounts of damage. It's just she's so slow in her attack. I think is it 3.5 seconds? 5 seconds, sorry? 5 seconds. Right? So even at 600 speed, she's still at 2.4 seconds to drop those icebergs down as possible. We're using her mainly to help Boreas because he does the extra damage on frozen targets, and she can freeze the targets with her thing. So, plus, she can control that left side because he's not hitting it with his passive. It's too far away. Believe it or not, there's actually a limit to his passive unless it's under ult. So anyway, that's our thing. Hollow does have pretty low attack, but this is kind of what I needed for Guild Boss. Guild Boss more important for Hollow to be in sync so that everyone lives and we get that damage in Nightmare 4. What I should do is I should have her in a second set that I use for every other content where her attack is boosted considerably and maybe some of her health is reduced because we don't need her to survive in content where she's a platformer and she never gets hit. So I might look at that. It would slow her down a bit. It would just give her different stats, I guess is the best way to put it. So I should put that on one of the champions I don't normally have any gear on, and then just swap it in and out. I'm just lazy, I think is what it is. Just lazy. And I think that's about it for champions. Obviously, you can see I have I have a pretty strong breadth of champions. Obviously, a lot of A5s. I've pulled a lot of shards. We spent money in the game. This is not a free to play. This is not a free to play game. Team account, but overall, there's the team. My thoughts on the game. 90 days in, I'm still liking it. I'm still enjoying it. I still have content to push. I do feel like my progress is, even as a spender, my progress is fairly quick compared. What I would love to see Moonton focus on, and I've said this before, but I think for me, I need more epics. I need more champions. I know they're adding a lot of champions to the game, and they're probably adding legendaries at a pretty good pace. I don't feel like they're adding epics at all, really, and they need to. I feel like if you're too legendary heavy, I know that is really nice for summons and generating revenue, but the reality is epics is what sustains the game, because you need a large free-to-play player base to balance out the numbers. You have your spenders who are going to have legendaries regardless, so the epics are less important. And then you have your free-to-play players who need to get what they get and use it. And I feel like if they had more epics to use, more usable epics, just overall bigger epic pool, and we could make different guides on, hey, this epic's cool, instead of literally right now, you know the epics you need and use. And those epics are going to be, it's going to be Dolores, it's going to be Hollow, it's going to be Vortex, it's going to be Idril. And then you're probably using Wrath if you're free to play. You're probably using Olog if you're free to play. I'm probably using Baron. And then, of course, you get Mari free, so she's in a ton of content. Laurel, obviously, right? But who's deviating from that? Who's using Osiren? I've heard a couple people use Gluttony at some point. Maybe I'll look at that. Who's using Assault? Titus? Oh dear, Cyclone. You know, like we need more usable in the epic space, and more variety of ability to use some of those epics, because really the epics now are mostly in the support realm. Or have very specific kits that are useful. So I hope for that. But 90 days in, still having fun, still enjoying it, still pushing content, and overall still having a good time. So that's the account. What do you think? I need a couple things from you in the comments down below. First off, should I be buying that third key for Guild Boss? We don't need the damage. I'm not doing it sacrificially. It's just for me. Secondly, I don't even know what the second one. What was the second one? Oh, there's another question I had. Just let me know what you think. Oh, for Nightmare Void Rift, what team did you use to pass it if you've passed Nightmare Void Rift? But yeah, I love the game. What are your thoughts on the game? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please be kind, be safe, and we'll see you in the next video.